Now, something that we get a lot of questions about is how our automated join in progress works. Before we can actually show you that, we want to make sure that we're set up correctly for it. And it's really pretty simple, but one of the main things you want to do is go into your channel default settings and define a join in progress JIP bumper. You'll see why that is here in a minute, but basically when you go into your channel default settings, select the channel that you want to configure, which is, on this drop-down box. And in this lower right area, make sure, first of all, that you've got the join in progress enabled with this checkbox, and then click on this Edit JIP bumper to go ahead and define which automatic JIP bumper you'd want us to load before we actually perform the join in progress. So just basically treat this just like you would for any other event property, where you'll define the material ID, the video source that you want it to air from, and give it the event duration. Okay. And as long as you have that set up, then it should be good to go. Now, unlike a lot of other join in progress solutions out there, this is extremely simple. It's really a matter of being able to right click where you want the system to be able to join. So in this particular playlist, I have a similar scenario to what you're probably familiar with, where currently I'm in a live segment that is manually ended. So this is going to wait for me to trigger a play. And currently with our schedule, I'm over, right, because of the live event ran long. So I want to be able to join this next upcoming program in progress to get back on time. And I can simply right click and choose Set JIP Start Event. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to JIP this particular event. This just means that this is where the window is that it can go ahead and start calculating where it needs to land, basically. It brings up the second dialog where I simply put in a traffic start time, or ultimately just confirm the traffic start time that was set, my date, and then that JIP bumper that we configured before this, we highly recommend you enable, right? So it's going to default to having that checked, so you don't have to do anything extra. From there, just hit OK, and then confirm again that that's the right date. And right away, you should see, some progress here, essentially, right? Letting you know that it took that change. So notice that what's happened here is it's inserted a comment line to let you know that you've got a start window. Notice it inserted this JIP bumper, and then also these new color gradients that popped up. Now, this is something that we really do also like to point out, because complaints that we'd actually heard from people on other JIP systems, including, honestly, our old JIP solution that we had years back, was that even though you set it up the way that you believed was correct, you honestly couldn't tell it was working until it was time to JIP. And obviously, you want to know that it's calculating all of that ahead of time. So what this gradient is showing you is that your program start is on this purple line. However, it is calculating where it would truly fall when you play right now. And the one that has got the yellow color right here currently is where it believes that it would land. It'll continue to calculate this. So if I sat here for another 5 minutes or so, you could actually even see it moving down this list to where it's actually going to land. Obviously, we're not going to sit there that long for this. Let me go ahead and get it started, and you'll see what it does. So I've essentially rolled my end break. You can think of it as like you would in a live event. And as it gets closer, you'll see it pop up, letting you know that it's about to calculate the JIP. And when it actually hits the JIP bumper, it will start to queue a modified version of the actual event that it was going to land on. And it looks like it is going to land in my segment 2 of my join in progress. And we'll confirm that here again once it goes. Now, while it's finishing this part up too, just a couple other points I want to point out to you. Obviously, it's going to skip over a few different things, and it's not just program elements. It's also some of my break material. Now, if you notice over in my lower right hand of my screen, I have what we call a make good drawer. This is actually filling in material that it's skipping over, and you can define which type of material you want it to actually show you on this. And I'll get back to that in a second. I want you to make sure and see the actual join in progress occur. So it's just confirming for me. And as soon as it actually finishes this, you'll see it queue and play into this event. You can see it's already modified that event, right? And there we go. It's as simple as that. So some of that last bit happened pretty fast. So just to explain to you ultimately what you saw as well. The event was previously 9 minutes. I'm going to turn off my scroll here for a second so I can go back up. Notice how this was 9 minutes before. and it's now been commented out, and it replaced it with a shortened version of it. And really, it just moves the SOM as far as it needs to into the event to give you that time for the altered start time. And from there, you're back to the same schedule that you were on before. But now, quickly before I end this, I do want to get back to the make good drawer. Now, what this is doing is I have to find in my configuration that anything with an FCC type of CA for commercial account, I want to be aware of it preempting it for this join in progress. So it has added these into this list because these were defined in that way, and it had to skip over them to make this JIP. This makes it so that I can easily drag any of these back into the playlist to make them good within a window that I have selected. So, this is just an example of me throwing them in. It could, of course, could go in a different place where you might need to actually make good on the actual contract. But this is an easy way to be able to know what you've gypped during this, so you can also make good on those as well as getting back on time. Okay, thank you.